Have you ever felt like you've reached the end of yourself? Like the world around you is fracturing, and the pieces of your own life are slipping through your fingers? We live in a world that is fundamentally broken, not just in the headlines, but in the quiet corners of our hearts. We carry the weight of our mistakes, the shadow of our betrayals, and the exhaustion of trying to be enough. But what if I told you that your unfaithfulness does not stop God's faithfulness? What if I told you that even when you are at your lowest, when you are useless in the eyes of the world, there is a love that arrives at dawn, waiting for you on the shore? Let's talk about the profound truth of restoration today. Whether you feel like Peter, who denied him, or like Adam, who hid in the shadows, this message is for the broken who are ready to be made whole. We often walk through life with a sense of spiritual pride. We think, I am a good person. I am a leader in my community. I would never fall. But the sources of our faith remind us of a sobering reality: we are all prone to the same shadows. Consider Judas and Peter. Two men. Two disciples. Both walked with Jesus for 3 years. Both saw the miracles, felt the warmth of his presence, and heard the heartbeat of God. And yet, the scripture tells us something terrifying: Satan demanded to sift them like wheat. You see, the enemy doesn't waste time on those who are doing nothing for the kingdom. If you feel under fire today, it might be because you are actually a threat to the darkness. But here is the danger: pride. We think our titles or our church memberships protect us. But righteousness doesn't come from a label or a podium. It comes from Christ alone. Peter boasted, "Lord, I am ready to go to prison and even to death with you." We've all said it, haven't we? "Lord, I'll never do that again. I'm yours forever." But then, the pressure hits. The world looks at us, and we crumble. We deny the very light we claim to follow. When we fail, something shifts inside us. We experience what Adam and Eve experienced in the garden: nakedness. Not just physical, but a spiritual exposure. A deep, gnawing shame that makes us want to hide. Shame is a thief. It steals your confidence. It makes you want to pull away from the people who love you and, most tragically, from the God who created you. You find yourself looking for leaves to cover your flaws, busyness, distractions, or even returning to your old life because you think you've lost your right to the new one. Look at Peter after the resurrection. The master he denied was gone, or so he thought. What did he do? He went back to the only thing he knew: fishing. Think about that for a second. After 3 years of seeing the supernatural, Peter went back to the boat. He went back to the nets. He went back to the bold way. Perhaps you've done the same. Maybe you've returned to a habit, a mindset, or a lifestyle you thought you'd left behind because you felt like a failure. You tried to catch something in the dark, but like Peter, you've spent the whole night working, and your nets are empty. The most beautiful thing about Jesus is that he doesn't wait for you to get your life together before he shows up. He doesn't wait for you to finish your shift in the old life. He arrives in the morning, while you are still tired, still failing, and still empty-handed. On that shore at Tiberias, the disciples didn't recognize him at first. He called out to them, "Children, do you have any fish?" He knew they didn't. He knew they were frustrated. But he wasn't there to lecture them on their lack of faith. He was there to feed them. He told them to cast the net on the right side. And suddenly, the nets were so full they couldn't even pull them in. In that moment of abundance, John whispered the 3 words that change everything: "It is the Lord." When Peter realized it was Jesus, he did something strange. He grabbed his clothes, wrapped them around himself, and jumped into the water. Why? Because he was naked. He felt the exposure of his denial, the sting of his failure. But even in his shame, his heart couldn't stay away. He would rather be in the water with Jesus than in the boat without him. When the disciples reached the shore, they didn't find a courtroom. They found a breakfast. Jesus had already prepared a fire. He had bread and fish waiting. Think about the heart of a father. These men had abandoned him. They had doubted him. They had returned to their old lives. And yet, the resurrected King of the universe was acting as a servant, cooking a warm meal for his tired children. He doesn't judge your hunger, he satisfies it. He doesn't mock your nakedness, he provides the robe of his righteousness. This is the good work of God in a broken world. Restoration isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. It's about coming out from behind the trees where you've been hiding and sitting by his fire. He wants to give your soul refreshment. He wants to move you from the shame of your past to the honor of your future. As we close today, I want to ask you, where are you hiding? Are you hiding behind a title? Are you hiding behind a mask of good works while your heart is shivering in the cold? Don't let your failures define your identity. Peter failed, but he became the rock of the church. You might have failed, but your story isn't over. The same Jesus who prayed for Peter, so that his faith would not fail, is interceding for you right now. Cast off the pride that tells you that you don't need him. Cast off the shame that tells you that he doesn't want you. Step out of the boat. Swim to the shore. The fire is lit, the bread is ready, and your Father is waiting. He is still waiting on the shore. If this gave you hope in a broken world, share it with someone who needs restoration today. Broken world needs restored people, be one of them.